Dear brothers and dear children, two things that I would like to explore in today's khutbah. The first one is that December 3rd is known to be the International Day of Solidarity, or recognizing people with disabilities. And the other occasion that have passed also is on November 30th or 29th, is known to be the Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. 2 days or two topics that somehow they seem to be interconnected with each other, because Islam does acknowledge the fact that we might be born with certain challenges, or we could possibly develop certain physical or mental challenges as we move on in our life. And Islam looks at this as being a test, a rahmah from the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal to people. And that's why Allah said in the Quran, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ, we shall test you, بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والثمرات وبشر الصابرين, and give glad tidings to those who are patient. So indeed, Islam does not look at people with certain disabilities as unqualified, as burden on the society, but rather looks at them equally as productive individuals who are being different in a way that they have been qualified to the love of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated that إِذَا أَحَبَّ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا ابْتَلَاهُ. If Allah is to love a servant, then He would test him or her. So that's how Islam look at people with certain disabilities, that they are being recognized, they're acknowledged, and their recognition not being negative but rather being positive. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated that on behalf of Allah Azza wa Jal, that person whom I have tested بِأَخْذِ حَبِيبَتَيْهِ, by taking from him his two loved, the dearest to the heart, the two eyes to be able to visualize with, and sought patient by Allah Azza wa Jal, his word will be nothing but al-Jannah. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have given the empowerment to certain Sahaba who were with certain disabilities, like Abdullah ibn Maktoum, who was honored in the Quran by a chapter, عَبَسَ وَتَوَلَّى أَنْ جَاءَهُ الْأَعْمَى وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ لَعَلَّهُ يَزَّكَّى, contrasting between this Sahabi and the leaderships of Mecca, who the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was hoping that by spending more time with them and postponing responding to Ibn Maktoum would make it, would give momentum to the movement of Islam, as he was hoping that these people will be accepting Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal criticized the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and told him that this person, this Sahabi with the disability, is more worthy of your attention than the leaderships of Mecca and their status in the society. And that's why he also indicated when he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to the people of Yemen, I am sending to you khira, the best of the Sahaba, the best of the Sahaba, and who went to Yemen to teach them Islam and to be a judge among them and to be the representative of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is known that Mu'adh ibn Jabal was a person with also disability, having difficulties to move or walk. So Islam does not look at certain disabilities, whether people born with or accumulated afterwards in their life, as something negative. It's rather something positive, referring to the notion that they are loved by the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد الواحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. The example of the believers in their love and compassionate and support to each other is similar to the example of one body. When one part feels the pain, the rest of the body cooperate to ease that pain of that person. And that understanding was translated later on by Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu when he saw an elder walking in the streets begging for money. And he inquired, why are you walking in the street at an old age begging for money? He said, I am from the people of Ahlul Dhimma, those who were not Muslim living in the Muslim society, who have to pay certain taxes for the protection of the state of Islam. And then he said to him, it's unjust, unfair for us to be taking your money early in your life when you had the ability and the means to work, and ignore you when you are at that stage. So he asked that money will be given to him, as stipend will be given to him to give him an adequate life at an early, late and stage in his life, as he's unable to live a full productive life. And that also meaning was translated by Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, who communicated with the premiers of his Khilafah to report to him of all the people with disabilities and challenges and elders who are unable to function properly by themselves in their life. And he assigned for them assistance, assigned for them payments to be given to them to help them live in integrity and live with an honor in their life. And we're talking about a time almost 1,000 years ago, before the introduction of whatever we're seeing nowadays in the welfare system and the disability programs that we have in modern sophisticated societies. So this understanding was introduced to Muslims and was an idea of Islam to the societies to live with. Having said that, we need also to be mindful of an important issue, that disabilities might not necessarily mean physical disabilities. It could also mean mental health disabilities, which is unfortunately not fully digested and accepted in our communities and many other communities, unfortunately. The way we need to redefine the look at mental health or its disabilities is in a way similar to the way we look with people with certain disabilities. As people might be with certain disabilities and have challenges to live a fully functioning life and a life of full activities, so is to be said with people with mental health challenges. That we need to be mindful that these people need our attention, our support, so that they're able to function as any individual in the society and have the same respect and the same and equal opportunities like everyone else. And from my observation, I have come across so many situations where people are criticized, are penalized, are turned down as a result of certain mental disabilities, whether be it depression, whether be it mental health illness, and people still do not digest and accept the notion that yes, people might look physically fit, but there's something that is preventing them from being able to live their life fully that is called mental health. And if we were to broaden our perspective and enrich our understanding to what is mental health and how it affects people's life, and how are we able to empower people with certain mental health disabilities, then we are able to shift and change their life from complete difficulties to pure support and ability to be able to live life to the best of their abilities. Whether you are a spouse living with a partner that is having mental health challenge, be mindful that they do not react, they do not choose it for them to live with. It just happened that they are living with this from what Allah Azza wa Jal have endowed onto them. No one would choose to be a diabetes or to have a blood pressure or to have a kidney failure or to be with certain disability. It's not a choice they would take in their life. Rather, Allah Azza wa Jal will be giving that to them so that they will be tested as a sign of love to Allah to them. And as individuals with mental health disabilities would also seek refuge by Allah and consider this to be something that would turn them to Allah, would enrich their relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty. It is the responsibility of those around them, it's responsibility of the rest of the family and the extended community and the society to give them the chance to be empowered to live a fully functioning life. That look of support, these kind words of empowerment is what they are in need for to help them be able to cope and deal with their own disabilities. The look of reprimandment or the down look or the criticizing would do nothing but make it more difficult for them to be able to cope and deal with their challenges in their life. Having said that, I'm going to change the tune to talk about something that is related also to disability. Over 25